Hello and welcome back to Boring Dad Gaming, where today we're going to be playing some more Mask of the Rose. The Comrade Hates Love playthrough. Let's have a look at this little story crafter thing. We've got an assignment, as before, to try and make stories about the masters that might shock the ordinary Londoner. We didn't do very well with this before, but we didn't really pursue it, to be honest. So this is kind of about the maps, isn't it? So let's say unknown purpose, unknown actions. And maybe we'll be able to ask people about that. Let's just save it. Let's recall the past again. Ooh, actions sold whoa. Where have all those come from? I don't know is the answer to that. I was thinking it was a previous playthrough, but I mean, the fact that Carringham's are there makes me wonder. Anyway. I remember the days of the fall in fragments. There are a few moments that I'm always drawn back to, memories that stand for everything else that happened. There are things I sometimes remember from that night that cannot have happened. Impossible things. If I concentrate, I can recall. We did that before. Let's have Archie looking through his books. With the extra days, we may be able to get all of these little flashback things, potentially. Archie's family is in Scotland. Everyone says that only London fell below, but Archie is afraid that something happened to them too. I'm surprised at you trying to read in this light, Archie. He held up the volume he was perusing. I thought I remember there was a bit about the Welsh tornado here, and I was not wrong. Makes an elevating change from your usual reading about Medici poisoners, I suppose. She had caught him a day or so before reading a history of toxins over the supper table. This had been the subject of quite a few jests since. Hey, what's wrong, pray, with trying for a wee bit of knowledge as a druggist? Solid dosis facet venom, as the books say. Nothing's a poison unless you get the wrong amount. Oh. Pined for surface, missed family, experimented with drugs. Okay. Was this happening before, like getting these storycraft terms in the past recollections? I don't feel that it was, but I'm also wondering if it's because we discovered them in the previous playthrough. I couldn't say, I don't know. But let's head outside. I want to explore a bit more. We could go to Ferret's shop for potential census stuff. That could be something we could do. We could go to the Land House. the Landhouse Townhouse. Yeah, maybe. We have got quite a bit of money. Boarding house. Yeah, let's give this a go. Let's discuss theories of ministry misbehavior with Grizz. Let's see how the story crafting thing works when you've just got like unknowns in the slots. Grizz likes the badge. I look magnificent, as always. I thought you might still be in the house. Mr. Pages is not an early riser. In fact, he was very put out when I came to the ministry in the morning. Raised the question of his intentions. What do you think Mr. Pages intends for London? What is it doing? What does it want? It's trying to save us from disaster. We would have starved without the masters. There's no way we could have found enough food to feed everyone. Suggest it's a bit naive. Let's not go full-blown conspiracy theories just yet. Out of the goodness of its heart, there's nothing else it wants from London? Was it really trying to get out of the census? People worry because they're cloaked, and because their rules can be a trifle peculiar. There are times I've wondered about Mr. Page's intent myself, but there's always turned out to be a good reason. For instance, I didn't quite understand why they waited so long after the fall to begin distributing stores. But I hadn't thought, but it's not at all easy to distribute so many things through so many parts of London. Frankly, ridiculous on my part not to have realised. I'd never asked that question now. In any case, it does want something in exchange, but it's hardly any cost to us. Just the stories of love and devotion, whatever form they take. Through the census or in other ways. For a moment, no one speaks. My business is done. If you want company, you're always welcome to pay a call. if we can use the term. Morning calls in our own parlour. It's not quite clear who should leave their card with whom. All the same, I welcome companionship. Yeah, we can be. We hate love, but we're apparently we're after friendship, so we can befriend Grizz. I would like that. I was used to a townhouse full of family and servants before I came here, and guests to dinner most nights of the week. The season would be starting now, or hereabout. Of course, no one now can come up from their estates. Suggest you could help me refine my manners. You could teach me how to conduct myself, because I clearly can't do it myself. I may have instructed you on how to hold a fork, because dinners would otherwise be insupportable. But to acquaint you with all the rules of polite society, that may require more time than we have, entertaining though the exercise might be. Okay, that's it for Griselda. Another errand before supper. Collected love stories. Okay, well that's something we didn't have before. So if we go into the story crafter now, we could put that in. Mr. Page's motive. Oh, action. Collected love stories. Student of the heart. I think that's fair. That does seem to be a motive of him. Okay. Where should we go next? I'm tempted to go up to Ferret's shop. Yeah, let's go and meet Ferret, and maybe we can get some census pages filled out. This won't be the place for finery, not unless I want it vermin spattered. Well, this isn't really finery, is it? I look magnificent as ever. The sign outside says this shop belongs to Ferret. This, presumably, is them. Ferret doesn't look straight at my badge, but it's been noticed all the same.
Everything's all right and tight here, regular inspections and all that. Yeah, we pay the constables their due.
Establish myself as someone to respect. Hates love.
Ferret. Yeah, well, you can see that on the shop window.
Most likely you've already heard of me.
Pleasure to meet you.
Explain that I'm working for the Ministry. The Ministry of Accounting and Recounting have asked me to work on the census. Ferret shows no enthusiasm for the Ministry. Make the mood even more disagreeable. Politely establish my superiority. Please tell me you don't have a surname. Ferret Wilson or Ferret Clark would be a terrible disappointment.
Ferret's the only name I go by, and no one saw fit to tell me if it was a forename or a surname. Might come down to me from a noble house for all I know. Courtesy of my great-grandsire and his wife, Lord and Lady Stokeweasel. That form, you have to put on it whether a person is a gentleman or not.
There's nothing on it about gender. It doesn't ask anything about whether the person is male or female.
Now that's good. Can't say I've ever liked answering that one.
Let's just ask about his household arrangements. Do you live alone?
Now, what's it to them? For all you know, I might keep a dormitory full of vermin-killing apprentices. Like my master did with me for enough years. Yeah, took me out of the chimney sweeping trade and put me at rats instead.
We're going to threaten him. There's something I'd like to know. You don't want to keep this to yourself. Are you married or otherwise connected?
Oh, I can't afford more enemies. You won't find any parish documents regarding my nuptials. Nor my christening, neither. Oi, I wasn't expecting you until this evening. I'm seeing the customers, as you can see.
Hello, comrade. I already know the customer. I'm just by with a warning about the pub at the corner.
More than usually infested, is it?
If the publican hires you to clear the place, bring help. And fire. Change the subject boastfully. I have a more interesting topic to discuss. Impressive indeed. You are an inspiration to the neighborhood. Am I? I hope they will notice and emulate you. I suspect he's being sarcastic. He does not say it, but I've often noticed he's the one the neighbourhood children notice. Just yesterday, a little boy put on a blue coat and strode several times around the courtyard.
Yeah, that'll be spiders.
Express surprise at Harjot's help. That was unexpected.
People are more than one thing since the fall. Before the fall, too. Come to that. There's just been a bit of three-card Monty on who does what since. Back to business though, eh? What else can I do for you?
Inquire into the particulars of the rat-catching profession. Is business good then?
Yeah, I've been rat catching and mole killing for many years now, but I've never seen the business like this. There's demand for the eradicating of the beasties, and demand for their bodies when you've done 'em. So the wages have never been so good, but I don't get so much competition as you might expect. Though it stands to reason, considering what one finds in a rat nest these days. If you ask me, in a year or two, we'll need more than a terrier to catch rats with. I need firearms.
Listen impassively. What's different about the rats now?
Yeah, hungrier, aren't they? They're used to a city's worth of scraps. Sunny London scraps ain't worth their having. They'll come out bold as a day and take a loaf off a man's plate if you aren't careful. And you hear stories, don't you, about rats getting so eager they'll gnaw on an infant in its crib.
Quibble with the hypothesis. These stories can't be true. You're putting around rumours to frighten people and drum up business.
Now, why would I need to do that? Look around you. Half the city's run off in a panic. Or died. One of the two. No need for scaring them more when they're in this condition. Truth to tell, I haven't been called on to deal with any chewed-on infants that wasn't already deceased. Unsavoury subject, eh? Now, let's see your pockets before you go then. Not nicked anything you shouldn't have done. Very well. Can't be too careful in these parts.
I do not like Ferret. I can feel the frown forming on my face. It's getting late. We'll have to come back and see what he does offer for sale. Maybe another time. It's getting late, so we're heading back home. Straight to the table in our Admiral's hat and prison jacket. Archie's in a state this evening. When Archie is unhappy, which happens often, he has supper in his room or not at all.
This morning I was in the basement checking our supplies, but I found a couple of rats down there reading the labels.
Staring foolishly, perhaps.
They were sounding out the words.
Calmly accept that animals now speak English. Right you are then, I believe you. I don't know what to make of that.
I don't like to think what the blighted creatures might be planning. From now on, I don't want anyone but me going down to the basement.
Leave a mess for Horatio. What? Yeah, alright, I don't know what that means. It's a small thing, crumbs here, a spill there. It will only take a few extra minutes to clear away, but it's a signal. It's a power play.
No rent's high enough for you lot.
We've got enough money to pay a half rent, so we will do that. Let's go straight to sleep. We didn't do a lot that day. So we've got 11 days left in Confessions. And I think it's the end of Confessions when Archie gets arrested, isn't it? Another morning, another newspaper. This morning's lies open on the table. Her Majesty's Palace shuttered. Royal family remains unreachable. Let's do another recollection of the past. I won't reach the things that are impossible. Maybe we saw something in a corner of the basement. I remember waking up in the night and seeing there was a new rat hole in the basement wall. And as I lay there gazing at it, there came something slick and writhing from that hole. It felt about the floor of the basement and wrapped itself around a lump of coal, finding nothing else handy. But that displeased it, seemed, because it dropped the lump again and withdrew. When I summoned the courage to look into the hole, I saw nothing, and I could not be sure that I saw it truly. Served an eldritch purpose. Ooh, I like that. Let's put that in our story builder. So I presume that's going to be motive now, is it? Oh. Oh, I was hoping that might be motive something eldritch and collected love stories. Never mind. Can't do anything about that. Let's head out. We could go... No, we've only got one. Let's collect more pages before we go back and do that. I'm going to pay Horatia. It's going to take a lot of our money, but I'm sure it's fine. You look rather magnificent. I'm indebted to Horatia. Since the fall, I haven't always had the funds to pay for my room and board. She's provided for me anyway. If there's anything to eat, I'm always welcome to join the other lodgers. She's never said a word in front of the other guests.
Ah, I hope you've not grown too sick of mushrooms.
Half give her back the half rent. I believe I owe you something, as a matter of fact. I pass the coins in a jingling handful. There is a moment's fellow feeling. Horatia and I are thinking alike. She scoops the money into the pocket of her skirt. All done. Discover how much more I owe her. I know that can't cover all of my previous debts.
It would be as much again.
Boast that I'll have the rest soon. There will be more where that comes from. A great deal more, just wait.
Oh, showers of gold, eh? I'll see it when I see it.
Okay. Silence falls. The conversation waits on Horatia.
I'm just off to put up my feet and read the paper. If the rest of you have any scraps left of it, that is.
If the rest of you have left any scraps of it, that is. We should be friends with Horatia. Horatia's nice. I grin. Another errand. I'm thinking of introducing Grizz to Rachel, potentially. Nothing there. Yeah, let's do that. We weren't able to do this before. I think we went there, but for some reason Rachel wasn't there. We look magnificent as ever. Miss Landau, may I introduce my friend, Miss Griselda? Grizz. She heard about your writing and asked for an introduction.
Oh, do you read my work, Grizz?
I never read novels. I have more pressing demands on my time.
Oh, then I don't understand why you've come.
I don't want to be rude, because I'd like for them to actually do it, so let's tactfully explain what Grizz needs. Grizz has an avid reader in need of supply. We thought they might particularly appreciate your gifts.
Oh, how kind of you.
My employer would like to pay you to produce stories more quickly.
My hands only go so fast.
We could provide a secretary, supplies. I'm not sure what a person in your situation might need.
Oh, I can see that. Did you own those trousers before the fall?
I bought them afterward.
They're well tailored for second-hand goods. You didn't do that yourself, I think.
Let Grizz interpret on her own. If you have menial household duties you need to set aside, we could hire...
I can afford my own seamstress, thank you.
We stray from the point of our meeting, Miss Landau.
What consumes your working time? Attending social events until something inspires a return to my desk.
Some muses inspire, mine exasperates. But those activities produce, what, a list of incidents, alphabetical, to be included in the coming chapters?
Characters. Today, Clorinda in her brother's cast-off superfine trousers. She tried to discard the society accent, but she wears gold links in her cuffs.
I didn't come to be a literary model.
If you want me to write more, it's the best thing you could have done. London's circulating libraries and magazines hold tales by the thousand. Your masters commandeer whatever they wish. I don't understand your difficulty.
Yeah, that's a good point. You're not the only one to ask such questions. Their intentions are hard to read. We've brought books by the wheelbarrow, new and old. Our reader, and there is one particular reader, has rejected everything Pages has brought to him.
We will pay for every chapter on the love of Neath-dwelling Londoners. My compatriot hates love will help you.
Say I won't help. Sure.
If you can tell me what you require. I need a plot about how my heroine recovers from her betrothal to someone left behind on the surface. Just the skeleton of how it happens. I can do the rest. If you could contrive a way for her to end the business, that would be very welcome. All of my thoughts have proven insipid.
Help Rachel plot her next story. Okay, so this is something in the Storycraft, I think. We didn't do this last time.
We only want the tales. And the Neath's heartblood. I accept, if that only means taking an extra payment for work I already do. I promise nothing.
You've allowed us to provide a certain incentive. Okay, after Rachel sees us out, we have a thoughtful walk home. Grizz is silent with her thoughts for a good part of it.
If she had any turn for politics, what a politician would make... if she had any turn for politics, what a politician she would make. Though, of course, they'd never swear her in. But imagine her speeches.
Decide to speed along a connection between Grizz and Rachel. Sure, why not? She is an extraordinary person. Ask neutrally whether Grizz has feelings for Rachel. If I may ask, do you have feelings for Rachel?
There's nothing to tell, I believe.
Horatia sets the dinner soon afterwards. Straight to the table in our prisoner coat.
Did you see that woman, the one that came yesterday, asking for doctoring?
Hey, what should it be but nightmares again? Use the chance to point out my own greater courage. Some people don't have such starch in them, it seems. I'd not trouble a doctor over something so trivial. You might if you had nightmares like the ones I hear of.
Could you do anything, love?
I have only a drama laudanum left, and nae more for a few days.
Well, there's fuel enough for the moment if you need to start a new tincture.
Hey, there's something else I've been brewing up, so to say. But in case it didn't work, aye. He takes something out of his pocket, a lump wrapped in paper or leaves, just long enough for Horatia to see. Opium.
Goodness. Well, wherever you got it, don't let anyone see it before you've had a chance to use it.
There is a brief lull in the conversation. I'm not going to leave a mess for her every day. Let's just keep quiet and eat. I chewed diligently. The first few days weren't bad. People had food in their pantries still. Old loaves of bread, leftover joints, roots and jams. But nothing new was coming into the markets. No new fish. No vegetables from the farms. We finish eating. Another morning, another newspaper. Archie bought one and the headlines read, "Beware, ailments caused by lack of sunlight, cholera, scurvy, female distemper." Whatever that is, I'm not quite sure. So let's recall the past first. That might give us some more terms to use in the old Storycrafter. Did we do Harjit checking on us? I don't think we did. That day, when the sky had gone red, even though it wasn't time for sunset, Harjit knocked on the servant's door. He was carrying a lantern. All well in this house? Any wounded? Any missing? Any dead? Anyone bunking with you who didn't live here yesterday? It was Horatia who answered, of course.
Everyone's here that's supposed to be here. No need to be concerned about us.
Is the line of duty? There wasn't anything to find. Yeah, if anyone does come to stay with you that doesn't belong.
I'm not turning anyone from my door that comes in need of food or a bit of shelter.
I was only going to ask you that you inform the constabulary, in case they're suffering from confusion and have relations looking for them. At the time, I thought Harjit was just being civic-minded. I didn't realize he was missing someone of his own. The evening felt even more frightening when he was gone.
It was nice when the lantern was in here. I don't like that orange light. It puts me in the mind of the Book of Revelation.
Oh dear. Any story crafting stuff coming to us? No. Alright, let's try building this story then, the novel plot. So who predicament is bereaved, and the who is Grizz. Okay, so what does it currently say? The spoiled beauty had lost her betrothed in the fall of London. He was believed to be travelling in France. The spoilt beauty had begun to fear she would never see him again. Meanwhile, they somehow came to her social circle. An unknown did something to the spoiled beauty. The spoiled beauty did something in response. So Griselda is the spoiled beauty, right? So who? Right, let's put Harjit in there. Harjit hoped for love. Action. Confessed feelings. Outcome. Struggles with regret. Griselda. Pined for lost love. Crushed a heart. Has nightmares. How about that? The spoilt beauty had lost her betrothed in the fall of London. He was believed to be travelling in France, but he was as inaccessible as if he had died. The separation was intolerable. A constable saw the opportunity to pursue his long-standing love of the spoilt beauty. A constable confessed his feelings openly. The spoilt beauty reacted in a fashion that shattered his hopes. The experience leaves the spoilt beauty troubled by most peculiar nightmares. A constable fights against his regrets. We could try... Let's go and present that to Rachel today and just kind of see what she makes of it. I'm kind of interested. So what's going on at the boarding house? Let's come back for now. Let's go straight over to Landau's and tell Rachel about our plot. Tell you what, as we're not going on census duty, let's change our lapel. Let's go with the vibrant corsage. That'll do it. Always magnificent.
Good morning. I see where my master and mistress are at home.
Mention my fear of what's in the basement. Okay. The night of the fall, I saw or dreamed that a tentacled thing reached out of a hole in the wall, as if there were a vast creature living under the cellar. It was petrifying. I go on for some time and make no effort to hide how frightening the whole business was. The description becomes more frank as I go on.
I see. I'm glad you told me. What are your origins? What sort of people do you come from? I can guess a few things from your clothes and your voice, but there are contradictions.
Invent a story of my elevation. I used to dine with Lord Palmerston before the fall. He consulted me on matters of state, confidentially. It seems I've passed some test. Offer this plot where the heroine fights nightmares. Dreams are a danger to everyone now. From there, I go on to speak about the ending.
I didn't have much patience for stories like this on the surface. Reading the old folk tales is one thing, but when it came to characters of our own time, I prefer them to face real difficulties. I suppose our dreams are difficulties now.
Silence falls. Was I helpful?
Grizz and her employers may like this one too. I have something for you. I don't know whether you'll care for it, but if you don't, it probably has some slight value. It was a gift, but for various reasons I don't dare wear it myself. I believe it's of devil make. She fishes in her bag and pulls out a gleaming piece of brass jewellery, strangely made. Spirifer's fork.
A sort of fork. It shows my allegiance to my yellow-eyed friends. Oh, okay. Rachel adds a proper payment. Oh, we got coinage. Very nice. So we didn't do this before, so the only way we had of making money was the census, which we got sacked from the second time we went there. Thank Rachel simply. Very good of you. Think nothing of it. There's more if you can take it on from that point. I'll have some work to do, putting flesh in all these bones, and there are some points of motivation that I may alter slightly. But it can be used. It can certainly be used. Let's talk about her artistic friends. She might tell us where they live. Rachel falls into telling me stories of Milton's salon. It is attended mostly by writers and poets, especially daring poets who will sometimes... daring poets will sometimes attempt a reading, but Milton's side commentary has proven a deterrent to the softer-bellied. He has no patience with work that's made to pattern. If it's a story about the uncomplaining suffering of wives, servants, children, or dogs, there is also a strict rule against paeans to the faithfulness of Penelope or Ruth or the Virgin Mary. If anyone dares say anything like that, he quips it out of existence. She goes on like this for some time, introducing me in turn to all the characters of that world, whether high-born or not. I shall retire to my study. I have work waiting for me. Look after yourself, comrade. Yeah, let's be friends with Rachel. I grin. I can afford another errand. Ready to hand in? Let's leave that. I don't think it is ready to hand in, is it? Let's head somewhere. Harjit could send us somewhere. I'd like to go and see what Ferret's got for sale. It might help us with clothing or something.
You come to beg for some rat bodies, I'm clean out. The constables take their cut, and I've got to eat. If you come back another time, I might have some then. And they're the one thing not running around out here.
Mention claims of heightened disease. I recount the newspaper story. Lack of sunlight is causing assorted vile ailments to come out of the water and the air.
Ow.
The constitution of the average Londoner has been adversely affected by shock and poor weather conditions. I make the story as engaging as I can, plenty of detail and a fair sprinkling of dramatic pauses.
People are having a hard time adjusting to the new order of things. Not me, though. Easy to see in the dark.
Consider a more positive view of change and evolution. I say nothing, but I'm affected by this view on things. Ferret is in no mood to offer any stories of their own. Alright, let's see what he's got for sale. Ooh, disguise to trail people. Something to blend... Oh, okay, she tells us what it is. Something to blend in with servants. Something to blend in at the docks. Something sombre. In the previous playthrough, we did get the chance to trail Harjit, didn't we? Let's get his hat, though, first.
Excellent choice, if you don't mind me saying so myself. Flattering cut, too.
Offer 1 penny and hope for the best. Can I have that flat cap for a penny by any chance?
Price on that is 2 pennies.
Appeal to the honour of thieves and scoundrels. What if I told you I can make good use of anything you give me? Make the neighbourhood a more prosperous place for everyone? Hey! Mildly irascible, at home with the lower classes. Okay, that's me. What else has he got? I'm going to get the disguise, because we did get the chance to trail Harjit last time. We didn't do it, but... Isn't anything to do with rats or spiders, but Ferret clearly indulges in a range of additional commerce when the opportunity presents itself.
Well, that'll keep the rain off your head and make the constables think you're someone else. At a distance, anyhow.
Offer a penny and hope for the best. Can I have that red wig for a penny by any chance?
Price on that is 2 pennies.
Appeal to the honour of thieves and scoundrels. Yay!
Well, that's a good choice, that is. Found it under the bed of a certain individual when I was going after the creatures down there. Asked him if it was his, and he turned bright red and said no. So I said I'd do him the kindness of disposing of it for him. Clean enough, though. Good if you want to go around the neighbourhood and not look like yourself.
Wearing this, I look and feel much less like myself. Implausible stories come readily to mind. Close friends fail to recognise me. I'd buy the sailor's uniform as well. Offer a penny.
Don't look like it's worth more.
Hey, we got some clothing. Okay, we'll do that for now. I wish Ferret a good afternoon.
Do come back, especially if you have anything of a verminous nature that wants looking into. Or if you meet with any likely urchins what wants to apprentice. I went looking for the ragged school, but they ain't to be found where they used to be.
Time to go home. Let's change clothes. We have a different selection now, so we could put on our devil fork. We don't have any masks or anything. We could put on our flat cap. And why don't we put on our little sailor's uniform? Wonderful. The pot's on the table, comrade. Sit where you like. Ask what's in it. What's in it? If you judge just by the flavour, it'll be a chewy type of fish. Makes a change from mushrooms. That goes for you too, Miss Griselda. There's stew ready if you're hungry. Let Grizz say whatever she is burning to say. You went fishing? It was one of Archie's clients that brought it by. The masters warned me against eating things from the river. Oh, the masters warned me against eating things from the river. I'm not sure it was the river he caught it from. Why? What did he tell you? He didn't tell me anything. Let her speak. He had the meat in a big bag, a very big bag, and stained dark. I made him swear it wasn't human before I'd take it. To judge by the fishy smell, it wasn't. No one speaks for a moment. Keep quiet and eat. I chew diligently. Dinner reaches an end. Alright, let's go straight to sleep. Then we'll do one more day in this video. They go by pretty quick. 9 days left in the month. Another morning, another newspaper. This morning's lies open on the table. Orgiastic parties of legendary viscountess threaten virtue, reputation of ordinary citizens. If I am not too occupied otherwise, I can always ask my friends and acquaintances whether there's anything they need from me. They may have some additional tasks for me. Yeah, I mean, we didn't do any of that in the last video. There just never seemed to be enough time. Let's have a look at the story options. This one does say it's ready to hand in. We should probably go and speak to Archie about it. Do we have anything else going on here? Ooh, haunted. Okay, who could this be about? I'm thinking about Archie. Motive. Hoped for oblivion. Ooh. Slept deeply at last. Outcome. Regrets nothing. Archie. Hoped for vengeance. Action. Died. Inflicted injuries. Outcome. Struggle over regret. A happy ending? Question mark. A spoiled beauty and the doctor encountered one another in the land of nightmare. A spoilt beauty now dwelled in that place more than in waking life. Even when the spoilt beauty seemed awake, her thoughts were often elsewhere. The doctor wanted nothing more than oblivion and forgetfulness. Huh? A spoilt beauty did something to the doctor. The doctor left the spoilt beauty burned by a savage acid harvested from ocular toad beasts in the depths of the Prickfinger Wastes. Only the doctor feels any regret. It's weird, but maybe she'll go for it. It's certainly not rote. Okay, let's have a little flashback. Let's glimpse something in the mirror. I think we did this one before, but it might lead to something weird. In a mirror, I saw something that wasn't my reflection. A woman who might have been Chinese, though I could not be sure. She sat at a desk in a flooding palace, and the milky water had come level with her knee. She wrote in haste. Her hands were gory with ink stained and dimmed with the firebirds embroidered on her sleeve. The glimpse of me goaded her. The ink bottle upset. Blue-black bloomed in the floodwater. Okay, let's head outside. Let's talk with Archie. Let's see if we can hand this in, and if we do, what happens. All right, I'm going to get rid of the fork. What's this shit? Yeah, we'll keep that on for now. Let's put that back on. We'll keep the hat on. Magnificent. Archie is palpably not happy to see me. Mention gossip about the licentious Viscountess. I recount the newspaper story. A certain Viscountess is spending her days in licentious abandon. Oh! The editor has helpfully included a line drawing of the reprobate, the better to assist virtuous persons in avoiding her. I give a bit of a mocking edge to the whole tale. I like to play a game with the gossip rags. I read 'em out to Grizz and see if I get a reaction from any of the names. She's got a twitch in her left eye when it's someone she knows. Laugh. I've not lost a patient today, and there's no one raving and in need of confinement, so I'll count that to the good. Ask what he does for such patients. What do you do for a patient like that? All I can do is try to calm them a bit. There's no hope getting them to bedlam. But there's a man comes round and takes them away. I've nae seen him at his work. But sometimes I'll go to see a patient again and find that he's been and gone. Ask if that's common. Do you meet a lot of patients like that? Aye, more than a few. It's the dreams that does it. They've been dreaming they've been buried alive often as not. There's a great run of that dream at the present. You see folk heading off to the graveyard with shovels and pickaxes, and that'll be what they're about, like enough. Explain about Mr. Page's and the love stories. The Masters are gathering love stories, or at least Mr. Page's is. I imagine the others may be working on it as well. I wonder what the purpose of that might be. I suppose it puts us all at their mercy. But I would think there are easier ways. They already have our food. If they mean to starve us, they'd kill everybody's beloved anyhow. Or maybe they want the stories for themselves. As if London were a treasure house of a very peculiar kind. I have a friend in Fleet Street who'll want these. Pays good money for what he can print. I'll split the price between us. You won't mind me using the rest on medicines, I know. And it's not as though I could go to Archie's buyer myself, of course. Ooh, more coinage. No one speaks for a moment. Archie considers if there's anything to add. I'll be about my own things then. It's time for another errand. Okay, so this time I was thinking of asking Harjit to... Ooh. What else can we do for Archie? Mr. Page's... okay, we'll close that for now. Wait till we've got more stuff to put in there. Yeah, I was thinking of asking Harjit to get us to a new location. Fine with that. That's what I think I'm going to do. I'm not going to do that today. Yeah, let's find a new location. So it's probably all right. Harjit nods to me without speaking. Bring up my recent memory of him. I remember how you came to visit us the night of the fall. carrying your lantern and looking to see who might be unwell. I have never known a longer night than that one. There's nothing amiss at Mrs. Chapman's, is there? Nothing has happened to Archibald? Ask what he's talking about. Why should anything have happened to Archie? Perhaps I shouldn't have mentioned it. Promise to repay frankness somehow in the future. I'll owe you a favour if you tell me. Whatever you wish to collect. I am not a fool. Harjot shakes his head as though to clear away some thought. So many families passed in the fall, so many others vanished afterwards. Perhaps they have all packed their things and gone to some other part of the city. Perhaps something more terrible has happened. Alright. Trying to think how we got to the sort of weird underground place before. Was it the church or the townhouse? I don't go to the townhouse because I've got the Devil's Fork now. Have we seen any devils? If by that you mean the people with yellow eyes. Yes. They have taken over a townhouse that way. He points out a direction. You can see them coming and going sometimes. And the occasional vicar standing outside to stare in. Arjot shows me the way as he did before. At certain points he makes me look at the stalactites above and fix their relationship in my mind. They sparkle with something other than stars. Don't treat the stars like constellations. They do not stand still. To say this place is inhabited by devils, or alternatively people with yellow eyes and a warm handshake. Harjot takes a look at the devil's doorstep and raises his eyebrows. It's plain he has no taste for this company, so I say goodbye and go on alone. The door knocker is made of brass, unreasonably warm brass, and it is shaped like the head of a goat. The attendant is human enough, but she refuses to answer any questions. I wait in a very old-fashioned wooden chair. I keep feeling that the armrests are nipping at my wrists. I'm invited inside at last. I was hoping I'll be able to change before seeing these guys, but never mind.
Oh, really? If you're in need of a handout, pray address your attention somewhere else. We are not a charity.
Quite the opposite.
Though, now I say that, Milton, don't you fill your salons with every sort of riffraff? I believe there are free cakes.
Present myself as helpful and obedient. Delighted to meet you. Hates love.
Milton.
You may address me as Virginia, or Ma'am.
They both fall extremely still. I'm not sure that they breathe. Let's explain apologetically about the census. Sorry for the interruption, but I've been sent to ask a few questions of the citizens of London, or those who survived at any rate.
I'm not sure what the masters have in mind.
Nonetheless, it would be a help.
I see.
It will not take long.
We are in the middle of a delicate matter.
Come now, Virginia. Wouldn't you find it entertaining to learn what the masters are asking? I admit to significant curiosity. Just what does the Ministry hope to learn about you and me that it doesn't already know?
Then ask and be prompt, Hateslove. And if this proves a waste of our time, Milton, you will owe me your good hunting horn.
Simply ask about his household. Who else lives in your household?
I reside alone.
You have servants?
Yes, I do. Several. I'd assume that they would not be counted as persons. You must trust me on this sort of thing, Virginia. I have had more time to learn London's customs.
And you frequently entertain overnight visitors?
Never for very long.
I have a maidservant, a housekeeper, and 3 drones.
Footman.
Yes, footman.
Ask using the exact wording of the original census questions. Are you enamorificated or impassionated? Milton lets out a surprised laugh.
An interesting question. Several persons have believed themselves to be romantically attached to me. Will that do?
You're not engaged to any of them?
Of course not.
And not married, that I can safely rule out.
Definitely not married.
I turn my census curiosity on Virginia. Virginia is a fine name, fashionable.
One tries to accommodate the local culture. That is, one tries until it becomes too much bother.
Our friend implies that the name does not distinguish you from the common or garden variety, Virginia. It might benefit from a poetic epithet. Amber-eyed Virginia, for instance. London poets have a taste for that sort of thing. Brass-shod Virginia. You must ensure that it scans.
Do not write that down.
Virginia of the cloven hoof?
Definitely not.
Pity.
I turned my census curiosity on Virginia. Ask about affairs. Ask using the exact wording of the original census question. Are you enamorificated or impassionated? I have no romantic involvements that you need to report to your employers. Silence falls. Ask Milton about his work. Ask about the purpose of this building. What sort of business is typically done here? Diplomacy. Commerce.
Contracts are written and signed.
Gathering of information. Are they solicitors? Contracts? Are you solicitors? Those who solicit.
Oh, the term implies some engagement with the law.
London law?
An inferior product, I agree.
We are not solicitors. This line of questions is proving more difficult than I anticipated. I'm keen to hear about your business all the same. Invent a fabulous tale of my reliability in all matters. Before the fall, I had a good bit of confidential business for a very large shipping concern, and little disagreements they couldn't clear up by way of the solicitors they'd send me. Oh? You wouldn't believe the things I've seen and kept my mouth shut about. Your assurances have a certain counterfeit quality. You have now taken as much time as we can spare. If at some future time you wish to return, you will not find the doors barred. My opinion remains to be seen. It's almost time to eat. Now, we're going straight to the table. Oh, we just added Virginia. Eat up, Archie. Aren't you always warning us about lack of nutrition? I'm sorry, Horatio. You cooked it as well as anyone could do. No need to tell me that. What are you brooding on, then? I was thinking on my mother. If she thinks I was killed, it'll be terrible for her heart. Invent a comforting theory. I've heard rumours that the surface knows exactly where we went. In fact, I'm told there's a rescue operation being prepared. By a special team of German engineers, I've no doubt. I'm grateful to you, comrade. Say I get out this hole in the ground at last, and all the way back up to Glasgow. I'd find she's past her grief before I got there. Positively Greek. I've told you before, you should ask Grizz to help you. Ask me for what? I've told you before I can't set off the masters. They can't be doing little favours here and there and everywhere. Do you know how many people live in London? No, my duck, I don't. Nor do you either, or you wouldn't need this census. My mother begged me not to come all the way to London. She said I could study just as well in Glasgow. Or if I had to go away, then nae further than Edinburgh. There's plenty of physicians there in training. It was me that chose to put the distance. Ask him why he came so far from home. Why did you do that then? Hey, my mother is a saint, the kind that suffocates you. Not that I mean to say a word against her. She went through a good deal with my father at that. He was nae saint, not by a long chalk. There's a brief lull in the conversation. Eat. I chew diligently. There are no more mushrooms on my plate. Straight to sleep. So originally, I think I'd have had 2 days left in confessions, which isn't an awful lot. So we're getting more done. I feel good about that. Headlines today read: Theological concerns within the Anglican Communion prompt formation of new synod. As for the secrets Archie and I have made known, they do not have a headline. Not yet. There is only a small item in the back of the paper. If I'm not too occupied otherwise, I can always ask my friends and acquaintances whether there's anything they need from me. Not yet. I've got plenty more to do. But I think we will leave it there for now. So when we come back, we'll carry on with Mask of the Rose. But I hope in the meantime that you enjoyed this one. If you did, then please do hit the thumbs up button on the video. Leave me a comment as well. Every little bit of interaction with my videos just helps the channel to get noticed and to grow, so that's always very, very appreciated. And subscribe as well. If you haven't done so before and you're watching this, that would be great to have you around on the channel. Yeah, in terms of what I'm looking forward to, I still would like to find a way to get to sort of the weird caverns. I can't remember how I did that. But there's going to be other places to go find. We need to find the church. That could be a route in. But yeah, I'm sure we'll get there. We did it accidentally the first time round. So I'll just say thanks very much for watching this video, and I will see you next time, I hope, for more Mask of the Rose. Bye for now.